Hey everybody, and welcome back to Be a Warrior podcast. I am your host, Angie, and I am an above knee amputee. If you are new here, I am so grateful for you coming on, whether you're watching YouTube or if you're on my podcast, it's streaming platforms. And you are a part of this journey of mine that I have started taking 6 years ago. And 5 years ago, I started this podcast and have enjoyed just sharing some of my insight from my personal journey and what I've noticed in the world and how the world works around amputees, just so that you can get more of an inside look. And if you're an amputee, I'm hoping it brings a little bit of hope or motivation or empowerment for you on what you can do and the reality of being an amputee, good and bad. So we don't hold anything back here. We do talk about all the ins and outs of being an amputee, and I thought this week was going to be one of those weeks. It's been really interesting because I spent the holiday season, like many of you, just you're running from place to place. You've got a lot on your plate, a lot of to-dos. You're baking, you're cooking, you're shopping, you're wrapping, you're going to parties, you're hosting parties. You might be traveling for family. It's exhausting, right? By January, this is probably why I don't like New Year's resolutions, because by January, that's when everybody's like, ooh, new leaf, let's start a New Year's resolution. And by February, they're like, and I can't even do this anymore. Because you guys all haven't recovered from the holidays. That's how I have been. I literally spent January doing nothing. I was a little disappointed with myself, I have to say. I'm very hard on myself, which is probably not good, but probably explains my motivation, who I am, and what things I've been able to do as an amputee, because I don't like sitting back and watching life. I want to be a part of life, and I want to make life happen. This past week, I finally got back to the gym. Yes, it is February, and I'm finally just getting back to the gym after probably 3 months of being off. And if you're watching, you kind of see what I'm dressed like. I'm ready to go see my horse. I haven't seen her in a little bit, and I'm dying to get back over there. But I'm going to explain to you something. When I went to the gym, one of the things that is key to my success for me is accountability. Yes, for the longest time, I was pressing myself and I was holding myself accountable to myself. And I'm very good at that. I was, because I had spent 5 years going through surgery after surgery after surgery, having done nothing that released stressors or energies or anything. And I couldn't wait. I was ready to dive into life full-heartedly, charge forward. That's my words for the month or the year, charging forward. And that was great. And I'm starting to realize, as I reflected in January, that at my age, charging isn't as easy as it was after charging through the holidays. And I needed to recharge so I could charge. And so January was a recharge month for me. And what the gym people, my friends at the gym, didn't see was that, pretty much October, November, December was taking a lot of energy on my part to go and do the things I wanted to do with all of my heart, but it was exhausting. And then all of a sudden, January, I didn't get back when those things stopped because I literally was on empty. Fast forward to this week, I started going back to the gym last week. I did one day last week. Last week we had the Phoenix Open here, and so there was a lot of energy expended there. Just getting around all those people. Think Disney World, Disneyland, crazy, lots of people, except add in most of them are drunk, and you're trying to dodge people that have no idea where they're at. So there was that. But this week when I got back to the gym, it's the accountability that I forgot about that I truly embraced this week. And that was people going, where have you been? We thought you weren't coming back. When you're the only amputee that's visual like that at a gym, people notice when you're there and they notice when you're not there. And normally get into a rut of going at a certain time of day. Mine's usually first thing in the morning, but not early morning. And that group of people is usually the same group of people that's there every day, Monday through Friday. And that is exactly what I needed is people going, where have you been? Glad you're back. Okay, now I can't not go back because they're now like, she's back. And usually you get a smile or a head nod or someone coming over to ask you a question. Well, what I really forgot as 6 years into this amputee game is the nuances of everyday life. Like, I guess I just, when something happens to you, you start getting good at dealing with daily life. But from an outsider's perspective, the amputee community is still quite a mystery. And there's a lot of things that people don't want to ask but are curious about. And so I thought I would delve in, and maybe I'll do a few of these different podcasts based on real life. But the question I got was really interesting. I've never had anybody ask me this. And it was from a woman, and woman to woman, the question was, does it take you long to get ready in the morning? How long does it take you to get ready? Like, what do you have to do? And I realized that, you all get up, and if you're two legs, you get up and you do your, you get dressed, you get your hair done, your makeup on, whatever it is you're doing for the day, and you go off and you do your thing. That is not my day. And actually, it is really weird. I will tell you this. I have two small dogs. They're both sleeping right here next to me. And they are always a part of my podcast somehow. And they end up jumping into my bed with me at about 4 a.m. So if I move anywhere between 4 and the time I really want to get up, there's a possibility, especially for the puppy, to want to get up and go O-U-T. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't need her to do it now. And you have to understand that I don't sleep with my leg on. Amputees don't. I mean, you can, I suppose. I had to do it once because I forgot something. That's a story for another time. And I had to sleep in a hotel room with it on. It was miserable. I did not sleep. It's so hard, and I had bruises on my other leg. And so I have crutches by my bed that I need to use if I get up in the middle of the night. We also have carpet to tile and dog toys. So I'm dodging things in the middle of the night. There have been times where she's gotten me up and I've had to get out in the middle of the night with crutches, unlocking a door, turning off the alarms, getting a flashlight, trying to open the door with crutches and crutching outside to make sure she's okay, because we have bobcats, we have coyotes, we have javelina, we have all sorts of things. We even have a mountain lion now in our area. And I have two small dogs that would make a lovely appetizer for any of those animals. So I cannot have them wander off where I can't see them when those kind of animals are prowling around. So that's part of my day, my evening. But if I get up in the morning, I also know that if I don't get ready quick enough with a puppy, that she may go to the bathroom. And we found out she did a few times because I thought she was being good, and she went to the bathroom on our new carpet. So that's fun. So there's those little things that come to my attention first thing in the morning. I literally will lay in bed going, if you move now, they might start moving, and then you have to know what you're doing, because you can't be half dressed and the dog has to go out, and not with a puppy. If you've had a puppy, you understand what I'm talking about. You have moments, and then they don't hold it. So there is that I worry about. But the other thing is, two of my biggest activities that I love to do on a daily basis is go to the gym and go see my horses. And those two things take very drastically different clothing to go do. I do not go to my horses, if I'm going to be real with them, in my gym clothes. Now, I have gone to visit in my gym clothes, and I've had to literally throw my gym shoes in the washing machine because they are so dirty. And I get pebbles and dirt down inside my fake foot. And then I hear grinding. It's gross. It's a horrible, like nails across a chalkboard kind of sound. But the idea of getting ready in the morning isn't just like normally it would be me getting makeup on and doing my hair. For the gym, it's putting very little makeup on at all and a ponytail. That's how I would go to the gym. Get a hat on with a ponytail. But if I'm going to my horses, I have to wear jeans. And with jeans, I wear boots. And boots take a whole nother level of energy. So when I'm getting ready, I have to know ahead of time what it is I'm going to do that day or what I want to do so that I'm successful. because I can't tell you in January how many times my goal was to get to the gym and go see the horses, and I didn't have the energy to do it, or wasn't convinced that I wanted to do it the next day. So I'd get up and I'd be like, well, I could do this or I could do that. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll clean up the pantry today. And all of a sudden something else would take precedence because it was a low level energy expenditure. Cleaning stuff in my house doesn't take half the amount of energy as putting boots on and walking across uneven territory with my horse. So there's that. But when it comes to getting ready for someone like me, I'm an above knee amputee that's a skin fit socket. My socket doesn't go on quickly compared to some amputees. Some of you might have a pin lock system where you roll on a big liner that has a peg at the bottom, and then you put your socket on and you ratchet it down. You'll hear it go click, click, click. Now, I don't have any experience with that, but talking to some people, I have heard how nicely it goes on. I know people that actually sleep with their prosthetic right by their bed, and a lot of times it's a BK, but they'll sleep with it by their bed, and if they have to get up in the middle of the night, they just put their prosthetic on. That is not my life. My life is, if I'm putting it on, it's going on for the day. It's big, it's clunky, it's heavy. So I don't put it on until I'm getting up in the morning. With the skin fit, I have to be able to make sure, and I'm not kidding you when I say it is as simple as this. My shoe stays on my prosthetic. I don't have a shoe right when I wake up in the morning. But if I want to put it on correctly, my feet better be level. Putting on with a sock is horrible. I have no grip with a sock. So it's either barefoot and uneven, or I have to put sock and shoe on. First thing in the morning, like I am a barefoot girl, I've always been. So that is a horrible feeling to go from pajamas and get clothes on instantly, get a shoe and sock on and crutch over to my leg so I can put my leg on. I'm instantly ready really fast in the morning. But it also depends what clothes I'm going to put on. And with my new socket being so high, I can't just, I wear leggings to the gym that are cut to about mid socket. Even with my leggings, this socket is so high that I can't get the legging up high enough over my butt and up into my groin to not interfere with the way the socket goes on with my bag. So I have to try to get ready with nothing on to get that on and then put my clothes on. Well, once my leg's on, then there has to be a system. Shoes are already on. So if you've ever put on leggings with a shoe on, it doesn't work. So the shoe comes off. I put my prosthetic leg through first, then I put my regular leg on, then I put my shoe back on. So now I put my shoe on twice already in the first 5 minutes of being awake. So that is literally my morning ritual. Do I love it? No, it's exhausting. I mean, by the time I do that, I'm ready already to take a break for the day. And it's like 6:30 in the morning. Thus, breakfast is very important for me. And getting the dogs fed, getting them out, and cleaning up the kitchen from the night before or whatever. So that simple question really made me think. I really have forgotten. No, I shouldn't say that. I have not forgotten how hard every morning is for me. I live that every day. But I forget that when we are seen representing the amputee community out in the world and we're moving around and walking, for those of us that are walking freely, we make it look easy. And I want amputees out there to know it is not an easy thing. I get it, I see you, and I feel it every single day with you. So if you sit there and you see me at the gym, understand what it took for me to get there mentally and physically. What my morning looks like is a lot more physically demanding than the average person, just like everybody's that's an amputee. We all have something we have to overcome just to get through the day of normal daily activities, whether it's grocery shopping, cooking a meal, cleaning up the house, making my bed. The one day I did have a huge blister on my leg and I was like, maybe I won't wear it this morning. I tried making my bed with crutches. Okay, can I just tell you how much that sucked? That is horrible. I will never go into not using my leg ever. After that, and you know what? I had a blister. I'm not kidding you when I say the blister was probably that big on my, if you can see it against my hat there, on my end of my residual limb where my valve was. And I decided after trying to make the bed, which I didn't finish, I went back and I put my leg on with a full blister and gingerly walked around the house that week with that blister because it took over a week for it to heal. And it was raw underneath, so raw. That's the reason why I have a new socket now. This happened just over probably about 2 months ago when that happened. But that's just to say that it's really important to learn to handle those daily routines, embracing it, knowing that this is the rest of my life is also a challenge, a mental challenge. And some days it is an emotional challenge when you've had enough and you're done. And we all have that moment. I don't know an amputee that has not gone through a moment of, this sucks. Like, is this going to get better? And it has its good days and it has its bad days. And they can come when they want. Like 6 years in and I got a blister like that. I've never had a blister like that in 6 years. But for some reason, my body rejected how I was wearing it that day and it screamed at me. And so it just happens. And, you know, we can go into a whole other plethora of topics based on that. But the idea is when you see the beauty of an amputee living their life, the reality is it took a lot for them to get to looking like that, to be able to succeed in your eyes like that, to walk through a grocery store like that, to get to the gym and not be embarrassed like that. It's not overnight. It takes drive. It takes passion. It takes some grace, and it takes some swallowing of your pride because it's not easy. You're probably going to make a mistake. I almost fell once at the gym, and that was embarrassing because people are watching. They're always watching. And they're not watching because they're thinking you're a freak or that you are anything but amazing for doing what you're doing. I'm thankful for the people that I have met that are strong enough to come up to me and say, can I ask you? Because their curiosity is so piqued and their compassion is really strong. If you allow someone in, you will find that they are very compassionate. I have never come across someone who's been rude to me or been blatantly, I take that back. I have had one, but when I look back on the episode that made me very angry with the comment that was made to me, they had no idea that they were being abrasive. And then I have to decide, do I allow them to make me feel that way? Or am I going to let that go because that's on me? It's kind of like the whole forgiving thing, right? Someone may do something to you that you aren't really happy about, but they may not have meant that. And it is our job to let things go, not stew on them. So even though that's a side topic and everything, when people do ask those questions or they're watching, it's just because they're so curious and I'm sure there's a million questions that they would love to ask, but they look for the right time. They look for the personality of the person. And I'm someone that, as much as I want to go to the gym and be really focused and I'm pushing myself hard, I also, if someone makes eye contact, I will smile. And that smile usually opens doors, which makes connections, and then that builds relationships. And I have talked about that in the past. Actually, this season, I had that conversation with you guys, is a lot of life, doors opening, like for me with the ski pro guy, and him finding skis for me and boots for me, because I only use one, that was making a connection that started with a smile, a question, connection, relationship. And when you do that, you start to build a really good community of supporters around you that are always looking out for your best interest. And we all need that in life. Everyone. We can't go through life. We're human. We can't go through life without that support and without making connections and the community. So when that question got asked of me the other day at the gym about how long does it take? I was like, that's a really interesting question. I literally have never had anybody ask me that. And each person is different. Some of you, like I said, have your socket right by your bed. You throw it on and you go. I am very particular, and maybe that's what's kept me from having any really bad wounds. I'm very particular on how it goes on. And I only put it on once. I do not like taking it off during the day, and it stays on all day. So I got to get it right the first time. And it does take a little bit longer when you do it with care like that. And when you have skin fit, I don't have the liner to protect my skin. So that being said, that is kind of the morning routine for me. It is basically, what am I going to do today? Planning that out ahead of time so I know what clothes I'm wearing and what order my clothes go on me. Again, if I'm putting jeans on to go to the horses where there's dirt and stuff, I'm wearing full jeans. You cannot see my prosthetic. Well, if that's the case, I have to be able to get my leg into a pair of jeans. I cannot put the jeans on first and then put my socket in through the leg. I have to put my socket on, then my jeans on. So everything is in order. And I never have been very systematic about things in my life, but this is one of those things I have to be. I have to know exactly what I want to do during that day and how to spend the energy and where I'm spending the energy and where I need to conserve it. And how I need to eat for the day determines what I can actually handle. It takes much more energy when you're a below knee, above knee, or a hip disarticulate amputee. So if you're below knee and you have your ankle missing, you're doing 2 times the work a normal person with 2 legs does. You're spending more energy. For me as an above knee, missing my knee and my ankle, I'm spending 4 times the energy, which then just tells you if you're missing your hip, your knee, and your ankle, give yourself some grace. You are spending so much energy just to function during the day, and you need to have the right fuel in your body and the right mindset to go through a normal day, let alone if you want to do anything outside working or doing chores, house chores. If you want to do things that make you happy, like hiking or meeting up with friends at a meal or going shopping for fun, it takes a lot of energy. So for those of you that are curious, that is how a morning is for me. I have to think it all through. And I was trying to think what I would do my call to action for today. And I really think a call to action, if you're an amputee really struggling with motivation during the day or energy during the day, I guess there's a couple call to actions. Number one, what has helped me is knowing the night before what my day's schedule the next day looks like. If it's recording my podcast, if it's going to the gym, if it's going hiking with some friends, if it's meeting my husband for dinner that night, all those things play into how I start my day, when I start my day, and literally what clothes I'll be wearing and where can I change into them. Example, if I go to my horses in the summer first, which is what I usually do, and then I want to go straight to the gym, I actually have to think about taking a boot jack with me to the gym because I cannot reach my boot and pull off an entire boot with my prosthetic leg on. So I have to have a boot jack. Do you know what it looks like coming into the gym, carrying boots and a boot jack stuck in, or no, not carrying boots, carrying my gym shoes in my bag and having a boot jack on the side? I probably should plan it better and get a better gym bag that fits it all, but it is cumbersome. But you have to think things through like that. I can't go from horses to gym and not have a boot jack. I would have to come home because I cannot, and I have tried. And I could ask someone to help me take it off, but I don't know if they want to touch my dirty boots in the locker room when they're heading out to work out. So those would be the things. That would be the first thing I would say is plan your day ahead before you go to bed. You don't have to get anything out unless you want to. I don't. I just, okay, all right, tomorrow is, I have nothing on my schedule. You know what that means? I can get up and I can get over to this and this, and I look at the temperature. Like I said, if it's summer here in Arizona, I'm not going to the horses at noon. There is no way I'm sitting out there in 110 degrees. So I will go first thing in the morning. Well, if I want to hit the gym, then I plan accordingly. What do I need to bring? Likewise, to be motivated to do that stuff, you need to make sure you're fueling your body right. And for me, breakfast is the most important meal because I need to kickstart my day after the energy I put into getting ready just burned me out. So I need to fuel right away. So I get the dogs out, feed the dogs, and I feed myself. That is first and foremost on my calendar of events. And then I go through with what I want to do and start thinking about the rest of my day and where I need to fuel up. The other day I went to the gym and was going to go to the horses just in my gym clothes because I was like, you know what, I want to go say hi. But I said I'm starving and I wasn't going to go home and I forgot to bring a protein bar. So I literally went to the Starbucks, got a water, and I bought their egg bites because I wanted something that was going to fuel me. Sometimes you have to do that, but I should have prepped ahead of time, but I didn't. But those are the types of things I would say your call to action should be to get motivated the next day. Know your schedule, know what you want to do, plan accordingly so you know what you're going to be out and about doing, and then make sure you have the right food so that you're fueling your body correctly. All those things really do play into successes. If you're feeling tired and burnt out, you're probably not eating enough or you're not eating the right kind of fuel. So it does boil down to some of that stuff, and we need to think that through being an amputee. And if you're an amputee and you're struggling, you're not alone. Literally, you are not alone. Everybody has something that they go through, and each one of us is so very different. This may not be your story, and you may have it worse, and yours might be faster. You may have a quicker answer to yours, and God bless you if you do. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.